Well, welcome to the Completest Guide to Young Justice, a full take on the Young Justice timeline. As many of you know, Young Justice has existed in multiple mediums, and it even has some adjacent projects. So what we're going to do today is we're going to dive into Young Justice, talk about all the places that it has appeared, and a guide for you, the viewer, to make sure that you have every box checked. Are you a Young Justice completist? Because I know I am. Now, before we dive into the guide though, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. Also, the huge giveaway. We're still giving away this PlayStation 5 at 25,000 subscribers. All you need to do to get in on our giveaway is be a subscriber and leave us a comment. Also, if you can, check out the 7-day free trial to Skillshare down below. This is a great way to develop all the skills you need for that never-ending fight on crime, all while not diving too deep into your pocket. Also, the free trial helps the channel, so we really appreciate it. Well, if you're a fan of Young Justice, you know that characters have shown up all over the place. And when you listen to showrunner Greg Weisman talk about being a completist, you realize there may be lots of areas that you have no idea that the characters have shown up in. So today, we're going to dive into that and talk about everything you need to be a Young Justice completist. Now, I think at first we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the 1998 comic book series. Now, this was a bit different. It actually focused on Superboy, the Tim Drake version of Robin, and Impulse. But it should be noted, by the time we get to Volume 2, Greg Weisman, our favorite showrunner, actually worked as one of the main writers in the series. The series itself ran for 3 full volumes. I've linked them down below, and I would really encourage you to check them out. Now, they are way different from the show, but you will find them enjoyable, and they could give you some ideas and clues on what's happening in the show moving into the future. I personally have always loved these books. They're a great read, and they really are worth your time if you are a Young Justice fan. Now, as for the show, we're actually going to focus on the chronological order of the show, not the development or the release order. There really is a good reason, and we'll explain that when we get to Young Justice Legacy. Now, ironically, the first Young Justice project was not Young Justice, it was an adjacent project, and that would be Green Arrow DC Showcase, which was released on November the 9th, 2010. Now, I actually reached out to Greg Weisman to try to determine which one of these was developed first, and his answer was pretty interesting. He said that he started working on Green Arrow in March and April of 2009, but was developing Young Justice as early as February of 2009. He did say the outline for episode 1 was not completed until September of 2009, so that is a nice little caveat. We did a full breakdown on this Green Arrow adjacent storyline, and it is pretty cool, and even many of the voice cast match up. So your first chapter in video form of Young Justice is going to be Green Arrow DC Showcase. Now on to Season 1. The first season of this show actually ran for a really long time. The first episode premiered on November the 26th, 2010, just a few weeks after that Green Arrow special, but actually didn't finish up until April 21st, 2012, which is quite a long time considering now fans are unhappy with waiting for the season to be broken into 2 parts. Now, if you're trying to be a completist for Season 1, you have to dig into the comics. The Young Justice comic series actually runs concurrent to Season 1. And there were technically 13 issues, with the first one being numbered 0. Now, there is a specific order to this, and I would recommend you get over to the Young Justice Wiki because they do give you a step-by-step breakdown of which episode and which comic you should read when. This is a great way to fill in all the blanks for the first season story. Now, the next chapter in the chronological order would be Young Justice Legacy. This was a video game that was actually released on November the 19th, 2013, several months after Season 2 aired. Now, the reason for this is the team did not want to spoil what was going on in Young Justice Invasion, but chronologically speaking, it is the next step in the story. This is also something we've done a full breakdown on, so if you don't really have time to play the game or watch the hour of cutscenes that come with the game, I recommend you check out that video. The game is not really the greatest video game in the whole world, but the story is really great. Now, on April 28th, 2012, we actually got the premiere of Season 2, entitled Young Justice Invasion. The series ran from that April all the way till March 16th of 2013, so Season 2 was compressed a little more than Season 1. And once again, we got a concurrent comic series. This was issues 13 through 24. And like Season 1, they completely fleshed out the story in many, many unexpected ways. Now, unfortunately, at this point, as many fans know, the show was cancelled and left us sort of hanging. In the following months and years, we did get several Young Justice cameos here and there, and if we're trying to be a completist, I think you probably will want to check them out. The first cameo came on March 25th, 2014. Several of the ladies from the show showed up on Scooby-Doo Wrestlemania Mystery, and we've broken that down before, but it was just a couple of seconds of the ladies enjoying a wrestling match and really nothing more. If you weren't a fan of the show, you probably didn't catch this at all, but if you're trying to be a completist, this is one of the things you might want to check out. Now, the next time the team did appear was kind of a big deal, because on February the 26th, 2015, they appeared on Teen Titans Go in an episode called Let's Get Serious. Now, I'm not a fan of Teen Titans Go myself, but I did enjoy this cameo, and it wasn't the only time the team has appeared on the show. Actually, as late as 2020, there was a pairing of talent show cameos in Season 6, which just aired in 2020. There were no lines, and it really wasn't a full-fledged appearance of the team, unlike the Let's Get Serious. But, being a completist, if you want to make sure you've seen everything Young Justice, you may want to check out episode 18 and 19 of Season 6. Now, when DC Universe was announced, we found out we were getting a Season 3 of Young Justice, and it was entitled Outsiders. Just before Season 3 released, there was a pairing of comics that was brought to fans. Now, this was very similar to the concurrent series that ran for Season 1 and Season 2, but it was just a 2-issue series called Torch Song, which focused on Magan and Superboy. That was released on January the 2nd, 2019, just 2 days before Season 3 released on DC Universe. Now, Season 3 of Young Justice, entitled Outsiders, actually ran from January the 4th, 2019, through August the 27th, 2019, with all the episodes dropping on the streaming service and a small break after episode 13. At this point, fans were in limbo again, and it was still unclear what was going to happen with the team since the DC Universe service was undergoing some changes. On September the 12th, 2020, we actually got DC Fandom. But more importantly, we got a Young Justice audio play featuring Greg Weisman and the entire cast. This was entitled The Prize. Now, I've linked The Prize down below for you to check it out. It's pretty cool, and if you are a completist, you probably want to check that out. It does give some serious clues on what's coming in Season 4, which we are now in. This brings us all the way to Young Justice Phantoms, which just started airing for fans on October the 16th. Now, at the time this video was produced, we are still in the early parts of that season, and it should run well into 2022. We know at the end of the year we're going to get a short break, and then they will return for the second half of the season, so obviously, if you want to be a completist, you need to watch all of Young Justice Phantoms. Now, there is another adjacent wildcard here. Greg Weisman has stated that Catwoman Hunted is another one of those Earth-16 adjacent properties. It's set to release on February the 8th, 2022. Now, I did reach out to Greg to try to get him to tell me where this fits exactly on the timeline, and in typical Greg Weisman fashion, he was a no spoilers kind of guy. If I'm making a guess, I have to think this more than likely fits between Outsiders and Phantoms, but we're marking it a wildcard right now because quite honestly, we really don't know. Now, I think we got everything here, but we might have missed something, so if there's part of this that I have forgotten, please let me know in the comments below. As a fan of Young Justice, I personally want to try to consume everything that I can, and getting all the little bits and pieces all in one place seemed like a lot of fun. So, what do you guys think? Are you a Young Justice completist? And are there any events in this series of shows, cameos, and comics that you were completely unaware of? Sound off in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure you press like, click subscribe, and if you don't ring that bell, you're not going to get any updates. Peace.